In this demonstration I will be looking at the rules of Tabula, the Roman ancestor of backgammon. Also known today is pronounced roughly as tabula, meaning table or board game. I will go through the rules of the game with my own created counters, created board, and also dice which I've included. I've also included a PowerPoint presentation in the link below which you can access and follow through the rules for more help. The board itself consists of 12 lines running along the bottom and top, creating 24 sections for counters to move on, known as points, these sections here. The idea is to get all of your counters to the end of the board using dice to determine the spaces one can move. However, this isn't so simple. Each player has 15 counters, which I've created either black or white. The game moves counterclockwise around the board from this position up to this position to here to here. 3 dice determine how far one can move their counters. Each number rolled can be applied to any counter, including the one that has already been moved. For example, if I roll 3 dice, I roll a 3 to this here. I roll a 6, I can move this to 6. And then again, if I roll a 5, I can move this 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could move another position, 5, into there. Or I could move this 5 on, like so. The sections between the lines of the board, where these sections here, are known as points. They can only be accessed if the opposing player does not have 2 or more counters on said point. If so, they have to make another move, or if no other moves are possible, then they forfeit their move. For example, if the black possesses this spot here, and the white rolls right, the white rolls up 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. The white rolls a 6, then he cannot possess the 6 because of the 2 black counters, which are initially placed at the number. Once all counters have been entered to the board, one can begin to move their counters to the other side of the board, the parallel points. This cannot be achieved if all counters have not been entered yet. For example, these are the initial points here, and they need to enter the parallel points which are located here. As the white counter has not entered all of his counters yet into the board game, he cannot move around the board to the parallel points. However, the black, if he rolls a 6, he can move said counters around the board like such until he gets all his counters onto the parallel points. All numbers of a dice roll must be played if possible. A counter possessing a point is referred as a blot. For example, this counter here is representing a blot in number 3, in the point of 3. If player 1's counter lands on player 2's blot, then player 1 replaces player 2's counter with his own, and player 2's counter is sent to the bar. For the black counter here is in the point of 3. If the white player rolls a 3, then he possesses the number 3 position on the board, and the black is sent to the bar. This section is known as the bar. Anytime counters are on the bar, your first obligation is to re-access the board with them. The counters on the bar must be moved to an open point if possible, determined by the dice throw. If you can only enter some counters, then the remainder of your turn is forfeited. When all 15 counters have reached the final section of the board, bearing off can occur. The dice is rolled and the counter located at the corresponding point to the dice roll will be bared off. When one player bears off all his counters, they win. For example, if a 3 is rolled, then this counter may be bared off. This will be replaced over there, and this will happen so on until all counters have been bared off.